Hey guys, so this week I've been playing Transformers War for Cybertron, which is a new game out for, I think it's out for like everything. It's out all the consoles, PC, it's even out on the handhelds in one form or another. But it's out there. It's published by Activision, and it's another one of these games like Ghostbusters games. It's not based off like the other Transformers games. It's not based off the movies. It's actually based off the cartoon franchise and not the movies. So gets a lot more of the voice actors, and it tries to regain the feel of the cartoon and not the movies. But is that any good? I mean, obviously the cartoon is kind of great for nostalgia purposes, but if you try and watch it, it's actually not as good as you remembered it. But is this game any good? Well, why don't you shut up and I will tell you my opinion of Transformers War for Cybertron.
Transformers War for Cybertron is a new game by High Moon Studios. A few years ago they made a game called Dark Watch, which I actually really enjoyed. It was a pretty solid game, so I expected War for Cybertron to turn out to be pretty similar. From the opening cinematic, you can tell that this game is just infused with the spirit of the cartoon series. From the action to the sort of classic Transformer-esque dialogue, it's really supposed to just feel like you're watching a cartoon. The story itself is actually a prequel to the entire cartoon series. It takes place on Cybertron, and basically it's sort of the beginning to middle area of the Great Civil War. You start out as the Decepticons, trying to basically gain lots of power so that you can kick the Autobots' asses, and then after a while, after you get a bunch of power, then you're the Autobots and you have to stop the Decepticons. They also went to really great lengths to try and put as many characters as they could in there, but at the same time it doesn't feel contrived. It's not like, hey, I went to the grocery store and saw Starscream. Like, the characters there's a reason why they're there, but they put a lot of your favorite characters in there. Gameplay-wise, it breaks down to a pretty simple third-person shooter. You run around and you shoot one of the two weapons you can carry at any time. The only difference is, you're a robot that can turn into a truck sometimes. There's also different classes that have different abilities. Some heal others, some are, give buffs to others, and it's great when you're playing multiplayer or co-op. When you're playing alone, it really doesn't matter. It has all the basics for a really good shooter. The only real downside is ammo can be kind of hard to come by if you're not being very conservative, and there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of reason to transform. Mostly you should just run around shooting. The only times you really need to be a truck is if you really need to run away from a laser beam of death. Not satisfied with just, throwing together some campaign with a couple of cool characters that we all love, High Moon Studios actually included a very robust multiplayer system. Not only can you co-op through all of the campaign mode, there's also, the standard capture the flag, capture the point, attack and defend sort of gameplay modes in the multiplayer, as well as escalation, which is a lot like Firefight from Halo ODST, only I actually think it's a little better, because it's really hard. Overall, it's a surprisingly good game. I mean, it's not the best game in the world, but you can have a lot of fun, and especially if you grew up watching the cartoons, you really enjoy the sort of nostalgic look back at really just your childhood in the making.
And there you have it. War for Cybertron? I actually really enjoyed this game. I mean, the campaign it's fun. It's got a nice length to it. I think it kind of gets a little repetitive towards once you get to like the Autobot side, but overall the campaign was really enjoyable. The multiplayer is a lot of fun. They basically do like the escalation mode, which is kind of like Firefight from Halo and whatnot, and there's the Gears of War. But they do a really an interesting little twist to it. Also, just the regular multiplayer is fun. There's co-op throughout it. It's actually a really good game. I was surprised at how much fun it had. I mean, the little problems, like I think the ammo was a little harder to come by than I'd like it. But really, I mean, if you were only going to buy one game this year and you chose to buy Transformers War for Cybertron, I don't think you'd be that disappointed. I think there are probably better games out there for your money, but if you're really into Transformers, or you're a big fan of Transformers, it's definitely at least worth a rental.